Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is a translation of a dars given by Imam Sahib. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama sallaita ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Allahumma barik ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin kama barakta ala Ibrahima wa ala ali Ibrahima innaka Hamidum Majid. Imam Sahib says that the entire life of our beloved Lord and Master, the Holy Prophet ﷺ, was like an open book for the entire mankind, and everything he said and everything he did was a model of the noblest kind for the entire world. Another incident from the sacred life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ is going to be presented today, from which we can have a good idea and of the various aspects of his moral excellence. This narration has been taken from Bukhari Kitab al-Maratib, and the person narrating it is Hazrat Anas Radhiyallahu anhu. He says that Hazrat Abu Talha Radhiyallahu anhu once said to his wife, Hazrat Sulaim, that I have realized from the Holy Prophet ﷺ's weak voice that he hasn't eaten for a long while. And can you imagine from this how the Holy Prophet ﷺ's life was led in a form of poverty and simplicity, about which he said, Al-Fakru Fakhri, that my poverty is my pride. One can get an idea of his home life and of this poverty, that a companion realized from the weakness of his voice that he must have been hungry and for several days, and so he asked his wife, is there anything to eat? His wife replied that at the moment all I have is some bread made out of barley flour. So she took those pieces of bread and she wrapped it in a scarf, and she concealed it within within a cloth, and then she put it on Hazrat Anas Radhiyallahu anhu. She covered them and concealed them and said, go and present this to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. From this we also realize that whenever somebody is given something to eat, then it should be offered and presented respectfully in a dignified manner. So the Hazrat Sulaim gave those pieces of bread respectfulness, and she covered the breads in a proper way, and it also kept them clean, and in this dignified manner she presented it to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So she asked him to give them to the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So Hazrat Anas said that he did as she said, and when he arrived to where the Holy Prophet ﷺ was, he saw that he was seated in a mosque, and next to him there were other companions seated as well. So he went and he stood by the Holy Prophet ﷺ. He didn't express why he was there and what his intention was. He did not disclose his intention and his real aim. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ saw him, he asked him that did Abu Talha send you? And he replied that yes. The Holy Prophet ﷺ asked, have you brought food? And he said yes, that there is some food. So he indicated that although there is some food, but it's not much, because it appears that when he saw the many companions seated in the mosque, he became a bit worried, and that there's only a little bit of food, and if it's distributed amongst all the people, then how much of it would be left for the Holy Prophet ﷺ? And it is a strange scenario that is drawn before one's eyes, that when he arrived there, he stood respectfully to the side and waited, but the Holy Prophet ﷺ was informed of the unseen and the unknown by Allah himself, and he realized how he had come there, why he realized the purpose of his coming and standing there, and then he confirmed that he had indeed brought food. So let us now see how the Holy Prophet ﷺ acted according to in this situation. Instead of taking the bundle of food from him and taking it home and eating it alone because he really needed it, but the Holy Prophet ﷺ addressed all the companions and said, "Get up, let's all go to Hazrat Abu Talha's home." He invited all of the people present, that the companion who has sent this food, let's all go to his food and eat with him. So then the Holy Prophet ﷺ and all the companions with him, they all got up and they started walking towards Hazrat Abu Talha's home. So when all of these people began traveling headed by the Holy Prophet ﷺ, Hazrat Anas radiallahu anhu thought that he ought to inform Hazrat Abu Talha of the situation, because he had sent the food and Hazrat Anas has taken it, and he probably thought that the Holy Prophet ﷺ would eat of that food and it would fulfill his requirement. But the Holy Prophet ﷺ invited all the companions who were there, and they were all told to join him and go to Hazrat Abu Talha's home. So Hazrat Anas probably thought that Hazrat Abu Talha would become worried that so many people were coming to his home. So he went and he informed the Holy Prophet ﷺ beforehand. He arrived before the rest of the people arrived. So Hazrat Abu Talha became worried, and he addressed his wife and said that the Holy Prophet ﷺ is coming with a lot of people and we do not have enough to feed everyone. So what's going to happen? And at that time, one can imagine how one's state of mind must be like, that if guests are on their way and there is no food in the home, so that man and his wife would both be extremely worried. So when the Holy Prophet ﷺ saw this situation, he immediately understood why they were anxious, and they were worried that they had no food, and how would they provide all the companions with food. Hazrat Abu Talha's wife replied, when Abu Talha related this to her, her reply was something which is worth its weight in gold. She replied that the Holy Prophet ﷺ and Allah knows best. Whatever decision Allah and His Prophet makes, that is the best, because they know best. So the Hazrat Abu Talha quickly left his home, and he met the Holy Prophet ﷺ on his way to his home. So Hazrat Anas must have ran to inform Hazrat Abu Talha, and Abu Talha immediately went to welcome the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And before he entered into reached his home, he found him and he accompanied him to his home. So the Holy Prophet ﷺ entered with Hazrat Abu Talha and entered his home, and the Holy Prophet ﷺ addressed his wife and said, "Whatever food you have, bring it to me." So now we are going to see a display of the blessings of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. So when the food was brought to him, he instructed that break the bread into pieces and make it into like a powder, and then Hazrat Salam poured some ghee or some clarified butter onto those pieces of bread. And this is sometimes done in the Indo-Pak subcontinent when fat and sugar is put on pieces of bread for children. It's called churi. So before they started eating, the Holy Prophet ﷺ prayed on those pieces of bread. After this, the Holy Prophet ﷺ instructed that call 10 people inside. So they invited 10 people into the home. So those 10 people came in, and by the grace of God, in a miraculous manner, they ate the food and they satiated themselves. And then the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that now invite 10 more people. So there were groups of 10 that went into his home turn after turn, and each of these groups satiated themselves completely. They filled themselves up completely. And then the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that call 10 more until everyone ate their food to the fullest. They were all satiated. So it must have been some incredible prayer of the Holy Prophet ﷺ that this miracle was manifested, that it was only enough food that which would not even have been enough for 2 to 3 people, but it was able to feed 70 to 80 people. And this incredible miracle was a result of the Holy Prophet ﷺ's prayer. And when all of those people ate their food, whoever was present there, and they all ate completely, they were completely full, then at the end, the person who ate was the Holy Prophet ﷺ's blessed being. After that, the Holy Prophet ﷺ and the people of the home, they all sat together and they ate. And after they ate, there was still some food left at the end. So this is an incident that which happened in the life of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, and there are several other such incidents of his life which were extremely blessed. But this particular one is mentioned in great detail. And this shows us the miracle of the Holy Prophet ﷺ's prayer, his compassion, his humbleness, that in the time of extreme need, where he himself was needed the food desperately, even his voice was becoming weak, but he ignored himself and he gave his companions the food to eat first, and at the end he ate it himself. So this is an aspect of the character of the Holy Prophet ﷺ, that he always gave precedence to the companions over himself, and he would always give himself, he would allow himself to eat only at the end. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa barik wa sallam innaka Hamidum Majid.